After watching the Channel One newsroom here on Channel One TV. Now, the Member of Parliament for Binduri, Isifu Mahmood, has condemned security agencies for their inadequate response to ongoing security threats in the constituency. This follows a curfew instituted after unidentified gunmen shot 6 people in Binduri, killing 3, while the others received treatment at Boko Presbyterian Hospital. Isifu Mohammed joins us here in studio for more on this issue. Grateful to you for joining us. Baraka de Salah, first of all, how has the day been for you?
Yes, Baraka de Kade, as we will normally respond in the Islamic way. Yes, the day has been quite troubling. As you guess, mentioned it, you cannot expect me to have a better day when you are the leader of the Binduri constituency, which has many security concerns lately. And so, remember last night, there were troubles here, there. You have to be on phone with the security, the residents, directing them, advising what to do and the likes. And so, it has not been easy for me these days.
So your Salah hasn't been good?
No, I don't even know that there is Salah, I must be frank.
What are your issues with the security agencies in Binduri?
Oh, I don't have issues with them. Just that I am helping them as the MP identify some of the issues, the hotspots, prefer solutions or suggestions as to the way forward, the way that I think that if they go about it in this way or the other, we engage, they suggest the way they think will help. I also bring my ideas, and together they are on grounds. So the best that they think will help under the circumstances, then they deploy that mechanism or that effort. And so that is what we've been doing for all this while.
You said they are not acting well?
I'm not saying so. I'm saying that I only engage them, make suggestions, pick certain information that they would otherwise not obtain from the residents. Because, you know, the military, unlike the police, don't normally engage civilians into details. And so that civilian military relations is very poor. And so being a leader, being the MP of the area, even though far away from the constituency at the moment, they even prefer reaching out to me on phone to tell me that this and that. So when I also receive all that kind of information, I will also determine which one will be necessary to feed it to the what do they call the security, so that they can make good use of it, applying it with their existing tactics or means and ways that they want to deploy to resolve the conflict. And so that is what we've been doing. And they are doing well. And we
do you think they are being responsive enough to the information you have been providing to them?
In some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. And so, but largely the response has not been appropriate. And that is as a result of maybe the distance, or in some cases, just turning a deaf ear to some of it, because in some places where the shooting takes place and the hour the shooting occurs, one would expect that, for instance, you know, if there's a noise, a sound in the night, it travels far as compared to that of the day. And so, and fortunately for us, my constituency hosts the security, the military detachment in Boku for all these years. And so there's a particular community that we call it the Barabogo, when you guys enter the Binduri constituency after Zebila. So that is where we house the military. And so they will have to travel throughout my constituency to the Boku Central constituency or district, where the problem is. But if there are gunshots in my constituency, to some extent or most often than not, they don't attend to it. And one would have expected that once those gunshots occur in the night, they will hear the sound and so respond swiftly. I think that is what is lacking. So sometimes you have to reach out to them on phone and direct. And most often, in some cases, they are able to respond swiftly. In some cases, to no. I remember the one that you just reported about, the one that occurred in the Binduri central area. In fact, I must acknowledge that the military commander did well, as Colonel Rose also. Yes, he did well. I called him, and within the next 10 minutes, he was at the scene of crime, local polyclinic there. Had it not been for his timely intervention, the injured would have even not able to get to hospital, because no one will volunteer, including the district ambulance, will agree to carry the victims through certain communities to the Baku Presby Hospital or to Bolga for fear of their lives too. And so as and when you get the military to come in and escort those victims to the nearest hospital, they are likely to lose their lives as a result of their inability to access a medical facility. And so, yes, on that occasion, they responded very swiftly. And in some cases, too, when you give them you happen to get information in advance that there is the likelihood of some attack somewhere, they are also able to play their part very well to prevent it from even happening in the first place. And so, in some cases, yes. In some cases, too, not the best. So it's a mixed kind of situation.
Now, let's come back to your work in Parliament. The House has just approved some 200,000 cedis for you. You'll get fund allocation for some educational projects. What do you intend to do with it? And do you think the conflict would impact your work in the community?
The conflict is already impacting my work in the community, because as we speak, whilst I should have been busy chasing colleague MPs who are ministers, lobbying them as and when they come to the floor of Parliament, because sometimes they need us. We need the numbers in Parliament. So you leave Parliament, you chase them at the ministries, and at the end of the day, Parliament too becomes vacant. And so we take opportunity and approach some of them, tell them the challenges, the needs for our constituents. But when you find yourself in a situation like I do, you rather end up chasing interior minister, defense minister, looking for, what do you call it, men, that is men in uniform, to go to your constituency to maintain law and order. You chase them looking for logistics, vehicles, motors to go to your constituency. You chase them begging, looking for other senior MPs to intervene, to speak on your behalf or help you talk to them to review the curfew, ban on motor riding, wearing of smoke imposed on your constituents. And so, yes, to some extent it affects you. Sometimes injured ones are taken to hospitals. The little that you have in your pocket, you can just look on. You try to help them settle some medical bills, depending on how deep your hands can go to your pocket and the like. So it's a serious challenge.
All right. Talk about this money just briefly. Since the news broke, social media has been awash with criticism that how come you're giving 200,000 for projects and 150,000 for supervision and monitoring. What is your response?
Yes, they are right to some extent, but they can only be right if they don't understand the nature of the member of parliament in the constituency. Because this so-called 150,000 Ghana cedis that is meant for us to do monitoring or whatever, that is woefully inadequate. Because apart from we the poor MPs or we those who are starting, I know some senior MPs who even spend far more than the 150,000 in a week, in a month, as far as the needs of their constituents are concerned. They pay school fees, they assist people in all sectors of life in their constituency. So yes, when the news breaks out there, I remember in my constituency platforms, others are saying, okay, we are going to start monitoring him. See, but they have rather forgotten to even remind themselves of the fact that we are already doing a lot of things. Okay. Just like I'm telling you, conflict is there, people get injured, you try to sort some of them out. And where is that money coming from?
All right, Honorable.
So these are the challenges.
We'll be back and discuss more about your work in Parliament. But this is still the Channel One newsroom here on Channel One TV. Still in studio with us on the Channel One newsroom is the Member of Parliament for Binduri, Isifu Mahmood. Honorable, let's focus on Parliament now. As a first timer, was Parliament the first session what you envisioned?
Come again.
Was the first session of Parliament
yes.
What you envisioned coming in?
Yes. No, you know, this first session, we guess ended it that was 2 days ago over the weekend. Yes, you couldn't have envisioned much because there is a change of government. So once there is change of government, it will take time for the government to fully take off. You saw how we just passed the budget, and without budget, government cannot function at all. Government has to take time, select ministers, the various security agencies, the commands and the likes, the various CEOs for government to fully come into full force. And so one wouldn't have expected so much from the government at the moment. But the expectation has been somehow met, because you look at the budget and it has tackled most of the issues that confront our society. You look at our first 3 months in government, you see that yes, it is very promising, and you can see that yes, there is hope.
What in the budget do you think benefits the people of Binduri? What's in this budget?
Yes, what benefits us in the Binduri constituency is the allocations that are made to the interior, the defense and interior aspect. Yes, and even to some extent, the ranking member and the former Minister of Defense, who though not a member of the committee, but per our practice can be a friend, came in and they realized that yes, maybe some of the allocations made to that sector was not enough, considering emerging conflict areas, just like the one you showed, Mimao constituency and the likes. I think government have made a lot of provision, a good provision for them, in a manner that yes, if that is well taken care of, they can be able to recruit a lot of police officers into the system, because the people of Binduri or my constituency doesn't have enough security deployments. Okay. And so once there is that opportunity for the Ministry of Interior to recruit a lot, same applies to that of the defense, we can get a lot of men deployed there, and that will also require logistics. And so government also need enough resources, and I think that in our budget too, the Interior Ministry has also been well catered for to acquire logistics such as vehicles, bulletproof vests, motorbikes and the likes. That is most needed in my constituency. And I think the agri sector too, yes, my community is also largely a farming community, and I think the agri ministry too has also been well catered for. And I'm looking forward that yes, in this coming season, the cost of fertilizer, if at least not reduced or subsidized, at least should be maintained at where we were buying it at the price we were buying it last year. And I think all these things will go a long way to help my constituents. The Agri Ministry too, when we approached him, has mentioned that they have a collaboration with, is it an Indian or some Chinese firm, and they have some farm inputs. And so you also go to the factory or the assembling center, and look at those that can be of good use, those farm inputs. Then you then list them, you go back to the ministry, you give those lists to him, and then they can use those farm inputs to set up the Farmers Mechanization Center that was promised widely by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama during his listening tour, and for that matter, in our manifesto. And so some of these things will go a long way to assist my constituents.
Honorable, before you go, I mean, this ninth parliament has suffered some criticism. The chaos that, ensued during the appointment committee setting.
Yes.
A report has been commissioned.
Yes.
What do you make of the conduct of your colleagues, and what do you think should be done to this report that has been submitted to the House?
Yes, in fact, that day I left for my house, and so I think it was even one colleague that called that I should get up and look at what is happening at the vetting center. It was quite bad, very embarrassing, and so if your children are looking at this, as the younger ones are looking at this, and you call yourself honorable, I think it was the least we can talk about. And so I'll just join my voice to many others who have condemned it, and I think this should not be encouraged. We don't expect to ever see this going into the future as far as parliamentary engagement, being it a vetting, whatever activity that we disagree. It should have just happened like in the past or in the floor of Parliament. We normally disagree. Even I think on Friday we disagreed when we were passing some of the appropriation. They walked out, and that is normal. They came the following day, and life in Parliament was as normal as if nothing had happened the previous night. And so that is what one would have expected that it happened in that very night. And anyway, it still happens. And so the Speaker of the House, Honorable Bagwin, has spoken so widely on it. He has expressed his disappointment on members who engage in that violent conduct, the destruction of property. He made it clear that that was taxpayers' money that they use in acquiring those logistics. And so once the investigation is fully carried out and the culprits identified, they will be made to pay the full cost of it, and not just paying for the cost of the damaged items or properties, but they will also be made to face some sanctions. And I think that he should go ahead and carry out what he said.
Thank you very much, Honorable. The Honorable Isifu Mahmood is the Member of Parliament for Binduri in the Upper East region.